All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And P.I.L.L stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. So today we're going to be talking about how builders, realtors, and lenders are offering incentives to buy. And if you want to see our examples, you want to go to YouTube. All right. So we're going to be putting some stuff on the screen on YouTube. So let me get my link and put that. Let me put that link in the chat so that people will be able to find us easier. Okay. So let me get this and we're going to copy it here. There we go. And there it is. And then we're going to put here, paste it in the chat. Okay. There we go. And we're going to send it in. There it is. So that's in the chat if you want to see what we're going to be talking about today. Good morning, Jackie. Hello, Queenie. So listen, start inviting some people in. We are going to talk about it today and how we'll be able to help people to understand builders, realtors, lenders are offering incentives to buy a house. Okay. So let me see. I've got some comments here online. Let's see who we have here. Let's get back here. All right. And so Ted is waving. Hello, Ted. Good to see you this morning. And he's watching us on YouTube. Tell us, where are you watching us from, Ted? Okay. But good morning to you. Listen, here's how I want to start. Here's how I want to start the show today. We started this whole thing back in 2006. Back in 2006, we started telling people how they could pay off homes in 7 to 9 years, expanding it. Oh, thanks, Ted, Seattle, Washington. Okay, he's watching from Seattle. All right, so we started this back in 2006, helping people to understand that the lending industry was taking advantage of the fact that we did not know how they did their work. Now, here's the problem with that. Everybody, and I mean everybody, misunderstands how this whole thing works. And I don't even that, but we have financial gurus and experts that actually teach it the wrong way. How to manage debt, how debt really works, how we can eliminate debt, how we're supposed to use it. And in fact, some people even vilify borrowing money. They say that cash is king, and if you don't have cash, you shouldn't buy. Now, here's what I say. I'm saying you need to have resources to use credit. You don't go out and buy something on a credit card if you don't have the income to support it, if you don't have a means of paying the card back. Credit is leverage. Credit is something that can be meaningful to you in the same way it's meaningful to a bank. And here's what I mean by that. When you go downtown and you see that the largest buildings downtown are the banks, but how do they do business? Now, we're being told that the key to success is only do things on a cash basis. That's the key to success. That's what we're being told. That's what consumers are told. But here's how it happens in business. Banks are the biggest borrowers in town. The biggest borrowers in town. Start inviting some people in here, all right? Because they're going to want to hear this. Banks are the biggest borrowers in town. And then they borrow our money and they put that money to work. They lend it out, all right? And they lend it out making not compound interest, but amortized interest. which is a very powerful tool. And then they give us pennies on the dollar. And to go even further, why do banks want you to put your money in their bank, their checking accounts, their savings accounts, their CDs? Why does your bank actually set up an escrow account so that they can pay your taxes and insurance on your house? Why do they do that? They're setting up a savings account for you that pays you absolutely no interest. And then because of that, you add that money to your mortgage payment. And so they save it up for you so that they can pay your taxes and insurance once a year. How many of you have heard of fractional reserve lending? Listen, I have been doing this thing. People need to know. And I'm going to ask everybody who hears me today and hears this replay, you need to help me get this message out. Okay? You need to help me. Listen, even if all you do is share the YouTube channel or wherever you're watching us, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, however you're hearing or seeing this, because even in Clubhouse, the replays are on. People need to know that banks use fractional reserve lending. For every dollar you put in their bank, they get to lend out 9. What? Are you saying that banks are actually lending out money they don't have? That's exactly what I'm saying. They're writing it into your account. Money is not being transferred into your account. That's a computer. It's something on a ledger. It's something on a sheet of paper somewhere that you've just borrowed $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for your house. They just wrote that in. And where did they get that money? If somebody puts $10,000 in the bank, now the bank has, according to law, the bank has $100,000 they can lend out. Now, if you and I did that, if we issued money we didn't have, what is that called? Yeah, it's called a crime. It's called counterfeiting. But legally, banks can do this all day. And not only that, but the money they loan out, they're lending to us. We have no idea how the whole thing works. Since 1936, when we got the first 20-year mortgages in the United States, which started in 1936. From that point on, people start making a lot of money off these loans. Now, I'm leading up to where we are today with 8% interest rates, not enough houses, not enough housing going on, and the perception we have on whether or not we can actually buy a home. And you can use this perception to your advantage if you know the rules. You got to know the rules. So now we've got people out here who are lending us money on mortgages, credit cards, student loans, car loans, personal loans, okay, which is sewn into the fabric of our financial tapestry. Lending is part of what we do. Borrowing and lending is part of our financial makeup. But why aren't we being taught how it works? Why? Listen, why aren't we taught how it breaks down how it all breaks down and how banks are actually using an interest rate to charge us a lot of money. Why aren't we being taught how that works? Not in grade school, not in middle school, certainly not in high school, or in junior college, or even grad school. And I don't care what you're doing for a living, if you're a CPA, if you're a financial planner, if you go to school for business, you're not being taught. You're taught how to get money. You're taught how to make yourself look like, all right, getting back to work, I'll catch the replay. Thanks. Okay, Ted, go right ahead. So listen, you're taught how to make your profile look good so that when you apply to get a loan, you can get it. I mean, there is so much out there on how to get the money. There's very little out there on how to pay it back efficiently. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube right now that have a lot of advice on how to handle your debt. But it is not efficient how they tell you how to handle your debt. What do I mean by efficient? Efficiency has to do with there's a cost to borrowing money. And if there's a cost to borrowing money, how do we lower the cost? No one is talking about how to lower the cost to a minimum when you borrow money. They give you some tips and tricks, like the debt snowball or the avalanche method or velocity banking. Okay. But nothing specific as to how much money should I be dealing with right now? How much should I be putting on this loan? Which loan should I apply it to? What month should I do it in? What day of the month should I do it on? And people keep asking me all the time when they call in, ladies and gentlemen, they call in and say, Don, or they talk to my assistants and say, what is the magic day I need to pay my bills on to pay off my debt faster? There is no one day. When you're optimizing something, you have to do the math that says, okay, how much money do I have? Which loans do I have? How much daily interest am I being charged on these loans? And so when I figure all of that in, and then the optimum amount of money to put on the loan and the day to do it and which loan to attack constantly changes. Why? Because you constantly have a different amount of money to work with each month. Your bills aren't the same every month. They're not. Your electricity bill is not the same every month unless you're on a plan. But let's just say you're not on a plan of any kind. You use more or less electricity every month, more or less water every month. You're using let's see, gasoline. You're using more or less gasoline each month. You're buying, excuse me, more or less food every month. So the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, that our finances are key to this whole thing. Do you know how many people I talk to? And I need everybody who is watching this live or listening to the replay. Listen, we've been doing this for 18 years. 99% of the people I talk to, they don't even know how much money they make, let alone how much money they're spending each month. Mm-mm. I'm talking to somebody in the mortgage syndicate yesterday, And I'm explaining what it is that I do. And the word came back, well, Don, people just don't have the extra money to implement your program. And I said, what? What are you talking about? If they can afford their mortgage, they have the money to within their budget to pay less interest. You see, it's not about having more money, it's about paying less interest. So what do I mean? If we take a look, and listen, do this today. Please do this today if you haven't done it. I don't care. Get a sheet of paper, get a scratch pad. I don't care what you're using. Get something. All right? And write down how much you're making. And take the time to write down your monthly bills. Write it down and subtract from what you're making in a month, and subtract from that how much you're spending on the bills only. Okay? You will be surprised at how much money is left over. Now, I need you also to add in, as one of your bills, money to spend on yourself and your family. Just add it in. So you don't feel as if you're working only to pay bills. You're enjoying life. But I'm telling you, if you will write it down, and most people call that a budget, and people, budgeting has a bad connotation. Budgeting has a bad connotation for this reason. It feels like something or somebody is telling you what you cannot do. Budgeting is not about that at all. Budgeting is tracking how much you're spending. When you track it, you will be surprised how much money is left over. So here's to give you an idea. When we work with people here at the P.I.L.L Method, part of what our computing platform, our AI cloud-based computing platform actually does, we call it the opportunity cost calculator. One of the things that it does is make sure that your income is placed in it, and then all of your expenses. And then from the money that's left over each month, even after you've spent your fund money, okay? The money that's left over, the program will prompt you to put that money in a savings account and build it up. And then take money from the savings account, and then periodically take money from the savings account and place what's called principal prepayments on your loan. Lump sums of cash putting on your loan. I mean, so much money that you never even thought of putting that kind of money to pay off your loans. Okay? So where did that money come from? Let me tell you a little story. Let me tell you a little story about, and this video is actually on our YouTube channel. It's the Barker family. Okay? The Barker family. And the Barker family, they told me, out of their paychecks, these are they're teachers with master's degrees. Both of them have master's degrees. So they were making good income. And they were taking $250 a month out of their income and placing it in a savings account. But guess what? Every month they dipped into that savings account and took that money right back out and spent it, because they were attempting to have a good life, to make sure all their bills were paid and make sure their kids were taken care of. So when they met me and we looked at their finances a little differently, do you realize that they paid off so when I met them, they had $13.06 in the bank. $13.06. So when we work with them, they found out that they paid off $24,000 in debt in just 11 months. 24 grand in just 11 months. Now tell me, ladies and gentlemen, where did that money come from? It was always there. And when you talk to them, they will tell you while they were paying off that $24,000 in debt, they were still going out. They were still having some fun with the family. They were still doing things that create memories for the family. Okay. And they had more money in the bank paying off $24,000 in debt that they ever had before they start looking at their finances differently. So, folks, here's what I'm saying. Start tracking your expenditures. If you don't do anything else, even if you don't decide not, even if you don't do business with the P.I.L.L method, start tracking your expenditures and you will see for yourself what I mean. You will be surprised at how much money is actually being left over that you could put into a savings account and start attacking debt. And you said, man, I paid off all my bills. Everything's paid. We went out to dinner. We had some fun. We went to the movies. We did some stuff. Okay. Whatever it is that you guys do to have fun in your family, you can still do that and still the bills are paid. Have some fun and put money away out of what you're making. So we do this so well at the P.I.L.L method that we can take that same budget, the same budget that you're saying I'm living paycheck to paycheck on. Take that same budget where you feel it's paycheck to paycheck and show you how you can have more money in the bank and pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. Why? Because now you're managing. Now you're tracking. Managing your income is something we just don't do. I mean, I remember the days when you had a checking account. And with that checking account, you not only were you able to write checks, but you had a check register, and every time you wrote a check, you would write down how much that check was, and then you would subtract it from your balance. Do you know right now that a lot of people don't write checks anymore? It's all done electronically, and we're not focused on how much money we make. Do you know how much money the bank makes on overdraft fees? Overdraft fees, because we're not watching our money. In fact, we don't watch our money to the point where all we're doing is setting up an alert. When your bank account falls to this point, you're going to get an email or a text message saying, okay, you need to move some money from this account over to this account because you're getting too low. But God forbid you miss the text or the email and you keep on spending and get hit with overdraft fees. The banks are making billions of dollars on overdraft fees. $35 a pop, but they're making billions of dollars on it. So the more we don't know about finances, the more money they make. The more we don't know, the more money they make. Okay? So Stacy, that's watching us on YouTube, she says, getting back to work, I will catch oh no, here's what Stacy is saying. She had to balance her checkbook. Okay. She said I was bad at that. All right. Even if you're bad at it, listen, even if you're bad at it, I don't care. You don't even have to be good at it. Even if you're bad at it, you will have a better handle on your finances if you do that than if you don't do that. I met a young lady once that said to me that she says, what if you don't have any money left over? What if you don't have any money um, at the end of the month? So when I get that, here's what I ask, and I had to do this just the other day. I asked, can you pay all of your bills with your income? And the answer was yes. So then I asked, do you ever have to use credit cards to pay your bills because you ran out of money? I said, no. So did you ever have to dip into your savings account to help pay the bills because you ran out of money that month? They said, no. I said, then you have money that's left over. You just don't realize it. Because if you make $5,600 a month or $6,000 a month, I have never met anyone who made $6,000 a month and spent exactly $6,000 to the penny just to pay their bills. So they said they have nothing left over. Never in 18 years have I run into that. It doesn't happen. You either have enough money to pay your bills or you don't. But it doesn't go right to the penny and saying, just to pay the bills, I use every single penny I make. And I have nothing left at the end of the month. No one that I've met in 18 years can tell me that. In fact, when we ask our clients how much money they have left over at the end of the month, over 90% of them underestimate how much money they have left. I've met people who said they only had $200 or $300 left at the end of the month. And it was actually closer to $2,000 left after they paid the bills and had some fun. They just didn't know where the money was going. $2,000, $1,000 left over, even if yours is $500 left over. Do you realize there are people right now? I need you all to listen to me. I know we were supposed to talk about builders and realtors and lenders offering incentives to buy. Okay. But listen, if you buy a house, you need to start, we all need to start managing our money and knowing what we're spending, what we're buying. You got to keep track of it. Even if it's loose track, but you got to keep track of it, because once you know how to do this, how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. Do you know the feeling? Listen, you need to experience this feeling that I can pay my bills, and if I have an emergency come up, I can handle it. You need to be able to experience that peace of mind in your family when it comes to your money. We shouldn't have problems when it comes to money. The money you make, you need to start thinking of it this way. It's not about how much money you make, it's how much money of that money you can keep. And that is the basics. That's the basic thought in the P.I.L.L method. No matter how much money you make, how do you keep more of the money you make? Because we take into account how much interest you're paying each and every month. We take that into account. Okay? And when we take that into account, then you can know what you can actually do. And you can sleep well at night, because this idea of living paycheck to paycheck just goes away for most of our clients. I have very few clients that their actual bills have them up against the wall. And if your actual bills are taking you to the limit, just to the brink, just by following these simple rules, you will soon have more room at the end of the month. You'll have more money at the end of the month. Slowly but surely, you'll get there and you'll start to feel better about your finances. I'm going to put something on the screen right now. I'm putting an amortization schedule on the screen. Okay? I'm putting that on the screen right now. And if you want to see this, go to YouTube. Let me see. I put the link in the chat. Okay? I put the link in the chat. So go to YouTube right now so you can see what's going on. Okay? The median home price right now, we've got people who are struggling right now on whether to go ahead and buy a house, but they have not gotten a handle on their finances. Give us a call. My link is at the top. Okay. Give us a call and we'll help you. All right. Median home price, $420,000 across the country. That's the median home price. Okay. Interest rates just hit 8%. The payment on this is $3,081.81. And in explaining this to people, do you know how much pushback we get in order to explain what happens with these loans? Only because we've never been taught. Okay? So now people are looking at, what can I do here? What can I do? 8%. I don't want an 8% mortgage. You need to know the difference. What's going on here is perception. What is my perception of 8%? Okay. Do you realize when interest rates were 2 and 3%, when it went to 4, it people perceived that to be high. When it went to 5, they said, "Oh man, just a few weeks ago it was 3. I don't want 5, I want 3." It's 5 looks high now to me. It feels high to me. When we were just at 3. And now we're at 8. Guess what? At 8, 6 looks better. It has to do with perception and consumer confidence. So instead of crying for the good old days when I could get a 6% mortgage, what can you do with this 8% mortgage to make it better for you? Right? One of the things that the builders, the realtors, the lenders, they're offering incentives for you to be able to purchase. Take advantage of those incentives. Okay. But first, get a handle on your finances. Know how much you're spending and how much you're making. You don't want to get into a house and then you know that I can't even afford to fix the hot water heater if it breaks. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to be there. Right. So get a handle on your finances. And then once you get that house of yours, okay, you start looking. I mean, even before you get the house, you start looking for the house. And now I've got these interest rates at 8%. Now in this area in Huntsville, that's where I live right now. I live in Huntsville, Alabama. And so in Huntsville, the houses are staying on the market longer than they used to. 30 days, 40 days, 50. My wife and I went by some houses the other day, some spec houses. I mean, some really, really nice houses, 4,000 square feet. I mean, all the amenities. The kitchen was, my wife said the kitchen was to die for. I mean, plenty of counter space, plenty of food prep area, double oven, plenty of lighting, soft close, self-closing drawers and cabinet doors. I mean, granite everywhere. Listen, there was a in the laundry room. The laundry room was as big as my bedroom, and the pantry. Oh my gosh, the pantry just kind of went on forever, because I love how they did that. They have a thing where they had the staircase that was going upstairs to the bonus room. So they put the pantry right underneath the staircase in an L shape, so you can have a much bigger pantry. It was genius. I love the way that this builder did the things. Okay. So now it was a very nice house, but it was, and they all had signs up that were for sale. And they're trying to give incentives to buy these very nice houses, where just a few months ago, they would have been snapped up in a heartbeat. Not only would they have been snapped up in a heartbeat, but they probably would have received for those houses more than what they were asking. So what are they doing now? What is different now? The perception is different. 8% feels like it's out of reach. The prices of the houses, now anywhere else, these houses would have been over $1 million. These houses were like 760,000. But anywhere else, it would have been, any other time, it would have been over $1 million, because they still had all the upgrades. They're giving away free upgrades in these houses, but that's not moving people. You know, that's not moving them to go ahead and feel confident enough to purchase at these 8% interest rates. So what else are they doing? All right. They're giving you money to purchase. Real estate agents are saying, listen, I will cut my commission so that this house can get sold. I'll cut my commission. So that's what real estate agents are doing. What are the bankers doing? Bankers are offering incentives. They say, listen, for a few $1,000s, you're going to be able to get a lower interest rate. So you can buy the points and then get a lower interest rate. You can pay for that. And what some builders are doing, it says, listen, since the banks are offering that, why don't we not only throw in some free upgrades, okay? Why don't we also lower our purchase price to the point where there's some cash left over? You know, you can have some cash at closing, all right? And you could take that cash and use our cash to buy down the rate. I mean, they're doing all sorts of things to help you to get into the house of your dreams, the house that you want. Why is that important? If you're looking, I mean, don't just sit on the sidelines because everybody else is sitting on the sidelines. Let me tell you something about when people are running scared. That is the time to go looking. When they're scared, there's less competition out there, and you can do your due diligence. You can do the work to go and then talk to the builders who are building the houses, talk to the realtors who are selling the houses, talk to the lenders that are providing the money for the houses, and do your research and find out how are they making it easier for you to buy. Look at all the things that they're offering right now. Folks, we get our finances backwards. We want to jump in when everybody else is in, and the competition is high, and it costs us more money. Or let me give you an example of what I mean. People jump out of the stock market when the price of their stock starts to fall, and they panic and then they sell. You haven't lost anything until you sold it. Why are we situated where when we make irrational decisions when it comes to money, when we should be buying the stock when the stock price falls and then selling it when it goes higher? That's what we should do, but we do the opposite. So when the competition falls off and the houses are staying on the market longer, ladies and gentlemen, that's when you and I should be getting in the game and talking to the builders, the realtors, and the lenders and say, listen, what are you offering me to get into this house? You're in the driver's seat. You are in the driver's seat, depending on where you are. Okay. In Huntsville, in our area, right now, the houses are staying on the market longer. Now, I know in some areas, there's still there's still a houses are being snapped up like this. Okay, that's why real estate is regional. So wherever you are, if you're noticing, if you do your due diligence and find out that the houses are staying on the market longer, that gives you an advantage. Find out, what are you offering me? And never take the first offer. Listen, how many of you have been in the airport? All right. And it's a few minutes before boarding, and then you get the announcement. And if this has happened to you, put a number 9 in the chat. Okay. You're in the airport and they say, oh, the flight is oversold, and they're offering you a $400 voucher to get off the plane and let somebody else ride. Have you ever heard? Has anybody ever heard that? Put it in the chat if you let me know if that has happened to you, if you've heard anything like that. And so I'm sitting in the airport with some friends of mine. All right. And I had to get back, and they didn't necessarily have to get back. All right away. I said, never take the first offer. It went from 400 to 500. It went from 500 to 600. And then ultimately it was over $1,000. And listen, and when it hit $1,000, we were already on the plane. And then we found out it went to $1,200. The flight was still oversold. $1,200 for anybody who wanted to give off. And they were going to give you a $1,200 voucher and a free ticket. Lord have mercy. People got up off the plane and said, okay, $400 wasn't enough, but $1,200 incentive, I'll get off the plane for that. And people got off the plane, got their $1,200 Visa card or whatever they got for that. And let me tell you something. When you go to the desk to pick up that voucher, all right, you say, listen, if I stay here, all right, I need to eat. All right. I want the $1,200. Will you also give me something to buy some food? And I mean a big enough voucher to buy some food and a beverage. All right. Because I need to eat. That's number one. Okay. Then ask, if your flight leaves the next day, don't use the $1,200 they just gave you. Listen, when can you get me on my next plane? They say, I can't get you on a plane till tomorrow. Then I need a voucher. I need food for this evening. I need money for breakfast tomorrow. And I need you to pay for my hotel. You need to do all of those things at the counter. And I guarantee you'll get it, because they need to get you off that plane. And you're up there, listen, they're talking to you. They can't get to the next person until they talk to you. So ask for what you can get. When you are in the driver's seat, ladies and gentlemen, and now this is something you need to know. Never take the first offer. Find out what else you can get. So you're talking to the builders, you're talking to the realtors, you're talking to the lenders and saying, listen, what can you give me? All right. What can you put in this house that I want? Okay. Now I have a hot water heater. Will you be willing to put in on-demand hot water? Okay. Look at Stacy Smart Gibson says, you at $2,500. Okay. Okay. Listen, I want on-demand hot water. I want to be able to do this in this house. Whatever you want. All right. Start asking for it. All right. Get a laundry list. What else are you guys giving me in order to make it more palatable so I can get into the house? Listen, like Stacy, look at what Stacy's putting up here. She says a water purification system. Listen, That's easily added. Okay. Water. I want a water purification system. If there's hard water in the area, I also want a water softener. All right. I want that too. I want the water. Oh, there you go. Dean W says, I want a tankless water heater. There you go. That's what we're talking about. Ask for what you want. They're giving incentives for you to buy a house in certain areas. In fact, we talked to a builder the other day that says, if you work with us, we'll get you an interest rate of 5.5. Listen, there is no 5.5 interest rates. There aren't any. This is the interest rate after they buy the points for you, okay, and buy the rate down. Okay, there is no 5.5 interest rate. So work with us, and magically we're going to come up with a 5.5% interest rate. Nope, that's not what they're doing at all. Okay, that does not exist right now. But you can buy down the rate. Now, I want to give you an example of what you could do if someone were to give you, let's say $15,000. All right. Part of what? Okay. Trying to get rid of PMI. Stacy. Okay. That's what I'm talking. Look at what she's talking about. I'm trying to get rid of PMI. We'll put that on the screen. Okay. So let me put a banner. Let me put a banner up, all right, and run that across the screen. All right. You all need to get a savings and earnings report. Go to ice10k.com and get a savings report before this is all done. Okay. So here's where we are now. Okay. Getting what we want. Let's say part of what they're offering you is some cash. What should you do with that cash? What should you do with the cash? Should you put an extra down payment on the house? Okay. Should do that. All right. Should you take that cash, and in this case, if I have $15,000, okay, I'm going to put a calculator on the screen. I got $15,000. Let's just say 15 grand. All right. I'm going to divide that by $500. Okay. Let's divide it by $500. That equals 30 payments. That's 30 months. Okay. You could take that $15,000 and then put that money in the bank. And then you could take the $500 a month out of the bank and add it with your mortgage payment. Okay. So your mortgage payment is $3,081.81. But you would only have to come out of your pocket about $2,581 because you have the $15,000 they gave you to get into the, so you can put that with your payment. I'm coming out of my pocket $2,500, so I'm going to put $500 with that, okay, to make up the $3,081.81. And I can do that for 30 months with 15 grand. That's one way to look at it. Okay. But here's another way. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to paying for your house, I need you, I implore you, I am begging you, look at the total cost of purchasing your home, not just the monthly payment. I know it's going to take some vision. I know it's going to take some long-term forecasting, but I guarantee you, you're going to come out better if you start looking at the total cost of buying your home. Here is what I'm talking about. When we move down to the summary on this home, $420,000. This is how much interest they want. $689,451.60 in interest on this home, which means by the time I'm through paying for this home in 30 years, How much will I pay? A total of $1,109,451. Does do any of you want to spend $1,100,000 on a $420,000 house? Any of you? Listen, there are incentives out there. Start asking what you can get. The tide is changing. You are in control. They listen, even if they are good, even if they are good at what they do, all right, the builders, the realtors, and the lenders, even if they're good at what they do, okay, their income depends on this house being sold. Even if you don't see them sweat, baby, they're sweating. They are sweating. They're just not showing you. So you just ask for what you want and say, listen, what are you giving me? And when they give that to you, says, what else you got? Okay. You need to practice that, at least saying that at least 3 times, maybe even 4. What else you got? And sit back. What else you got? And we got, so Mr. Daniel, we can do this for you and do this for you and we'll do this for you. Great. What else you got? Practice that. What else you got? Okay? Because you're in the driver's seat. Thank you. So now here's another thing you could do with $15,000. Are you ready? If you want to see this, you want to be on YouTube right now. All right? You want to be on, there you go, Stacy. What are you giving me? And what else you got? You got that right, Stacy. You got that right. Here's what she just put that in there right there. Look at that. Put that on the screen as well. What are you giving me? And what else you got? All right. Learn those 2 phrases. So here's what else we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to, by focusing on the total cost of borrowing. You do not want to pay $1 million for a $450,000 home. A $420,000 home. You just don't want to do it. If you want to know what we're talking about, I'm going to put this in the link. I need you to play around with this thing too. All right. With BrettWhistle.net. BrettWhistle.net. I'm putting the link. I'm putting the link in the chat here. I'm also putting it in the comment section online. There you go. All right. BrettWhistle.net. Go to BrettWhistle.net. Let me send this out to everybody. There you go. Everybody has it now. I use this amortization schedule because I can see how much money is being spent or how much money the bank wants if we follow their program. I want to show you something on this loan, even though the person who has this loan can afford the payment. They can afford the $3,081.81 every month. They can afford this. They're in the loan. They got it. They can afford it. Let me tell you what we easily lose sight of, because these loans are amortized for 30 years, meaning the amount of money that is credited to principal moves the loan so slowly down, it takes 30 years to add all the principal payments up to pay off the loan. Okay, so here is what's happening. In this very first payment, because of the amortization formula, only $281 of your $3,000 is going to pay down the loan. So you had $420,000 that you owe. $281.81 is subtracted from that. And so now you owe $419,718.19. So now you're paid down to line 1 on this schedule. Are you telling me out of $3,000, only $281 went to principal? So and $2,800 went to interest. The next month, it only gets slightly better. $283.69 to principal and $27.98.12 goes to interest. But every month, it all adds up to $3,081.81. Every month, the configuration changes. A little more goes to principal, a little less goes to interest. But it's still a lot of money. Listen, this is like 90% of your payment is going to interest. That's what I call inefficiency. When you're doing something to accomplish a goal, and most of the effort you're putting towards the goal is wasted. Okay? It's like going out to dinner at an expensive restaurant and you only take 2 bites of the meal and walk out and pay for the whole thing. That is a total waste of money. So if I'm going to do this, where my first interest payment is $2,800, $2,800 is credited to interest on that payment. If I divide that by my regular payment, divided by $3,081.81. That's 90. Look at that, 90%. That's almost 91% of the payment is going to interest, and only 9% of the payment, 9% of your $3,000 is going to pay down the loan. That's it. That's what's happening here. So we can actually add it up. And this is why I love Brett Whistle, because I can add it up. So I need you to see in 1 year, after 12 months, look, only $3,500 goes to pay down the loan, where $33,473 of your money got credited to interest. Boom, to the bank. So that's a total that's a total of almost $37,000 that went to the mortgage company, but out of $37,000, only $3,500 actually paid down your loan. Is that how you want to spend your money? Yes or no? I need to hear from you. Do you want to spend your money this way when you pay 37,000, not 3,700, 37,000 of your hard-earned dollars went to the mortgage company in 1 year, but the credit that you received out of that money, $3,500. Does anybody, listen, do you want to live like that? Is that how you want to spend your money? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. I want to see it. Yes or no? Is that how you want to spend your money? Okay, that's in 1 year. Let me show you what happens after 2 years. 2 years, you pay the loan down by $7,300. This is how easily we can be bamboozled not to look at our finances, because when we look at our finances, we don't want to do this. When we're not looking, this is when this happens. This is called inattentional blindness. Inattentional blindness, where in 2 years, $7,300 goes to pay down the loan and $66,655 goes to interest. That's in 2 years. Here's what happens in 3 years. In 3 years, $11,000, $11,423 pays down your loan. But $99,000, listen, folks, that's $111,000. $111,000 in just 3 years was paid to the bank. And out of $111,000, only $11,400 of those dollars paid down your loan. That's why I like Brett Whistle. And Stacy said, Stacy, where have you been? Stacy says this, ladies and gentlemen. She says, that's the devil. That's the devil, she says. Dean says, wow. This is what Dean is saying. All right, online. He says, wow. Do I have any comments? Oh man. King says a big fat no. A big fat no. He doesn't want to spend his money that way. Okay? Oh, and listen, I got to go down to 4 years. $15,800 goes to principal. $132,000 to interest. Oh, and 5 years. I'm going to stop at 5 years because some of us are actually getting sick by watching this. In 5 years, you paid this loan down by $20,706.50 because only $300 and $400 payments have been going to the loan. So in 5 years, $20,706.50 goes to principal, gets credited to principal, but $164,202 of your hard-earned money goes up in smoke in the form of interest. It's a payment we can afford, ladies and gentlemen. The $3,081 is something we certainly can afford. But it's expensive to maintain. But if we're not looking at the finances, that's why I started out today. Start looking at your finances. If you're not looking, before too long, you've paid out $164,000 while you're enjoying that home every month. You're enjoying the home every month for 5 years. Enjoying it, having a good old time, making your payments on time. In fact, the payments have become automatic. They're automatically drafted out of your account. You don't even think about it anymore. Not even thinking about it. But in 5 years, $164,000 did something you did not want it to do. It went to someone else to invest and not to help you and your family. That's almost $185,000 paid out in 5 years. Can I show you what you could have done instead of taking that $15,000 incentive to purchase the house and then take that $15,000 and cut it up into 30 $500 payments to help you with your payment for just 30 payments? Here's what you could do. Prepay, take that $15,000 and put it with your first payment. You can take that $15,000 and put it with your first payment. I need you to take a look at cumulative principal, because anytime you give the bank money before it's due, it goes to principal and it's added to the principal right away. So with your very first payment, if you give the bank that $15,000 they just gave you, can I show you what happens with that? Let's scroll down to where we get $15,112.30 right there. In 1 month, if I give the bank that $15,000 that my builder gave me, so it would incentivize me to purchase their house, I'll take it along with the other stuff you gave me, because I just didn't ask, what are you going to give me? I'm going to ask, what else you got? I'm going to get all of that, and then I'm going to take the cash that they gave me, and I'm going to put it as a prepayment on this loan and knock off 46 payments right off the bat. In month 2, my second payment on this loan will be on line 47 of my amortization schedule. I just saved $126,000 in interest I'll never have to pay, because I took the 15 grand that they gave me and applied it to principal with my first payment. Boom. Knock off 46 payments right now. My very next payment will be here, where $382.56 goes to principal. and $2,699.25 goes to interest. And I'm going to add up for you. I'm going to add up for you how much interest I paid to get to this point if I give them $15,000 that they gave me as an incentive to purchase this house. And I used it to lower my total cost of the home. I used that money to lower my total cost of the home. So how much did they want to pay this loan down by $15,112.30? How much did they want if I do it their way? It'll take me 46 months to pay it down to here. Plus, I have to give them $126,650.96 in interest to do that. That's how much I have to give them. But if I give them the $15,000 up front, how much interest will I have to pay to get it to the same place? Can I show you? I'm going to put a calculator on the screen. Okay. My very first interest payment was $2,800. I got to pay that. Okay. You got to pay them something. So I got $2,800. That's my first interest payment. Then I give them, so I make my regular mortgage payment, and then I give them the $15,000 on top of that, which takes me all the way down to here. Boom. Right here. My next interest payment will be $26.9925. So I'm going to add to this, and it's right here, $2,699.25. I'm pointing at it on the screen. Plus $26.99.25 equals $5,499.25. So if I take their $15,000 and pay down my mortgage with it, not as a down payment, but as a prepayment, I can get here, this very same place, for only $5,499.25 and not pay $126,650.96 to do the very same thing, to get it to the exact same place. Ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of this time right now. Right now, the competition in some areas is not as fierce because people are afraid to move because of these higher interest rates. I'm telling you, you can make it work for you. You can make it work for you. Look at what Stacy is saying. Okay. Stacy, are you liking this information or what? Because she's got several hand claps going up there. Stacy. All right. No wonder they call her smart. Stacy Smart Gibson. That's what I'm saying. So listen, $5,499, or $5,500 to pay the loan down to here instead of $126,000 of your hard-earned dollars. Is there anybody here that would argue with that? Is there anybody here that would argue with the results they're seeing here? On some of the things that you can do when you start looking at your finances from beginning to end, okay? Start looking at your finances, how much you're making and how much you're spending, and track it. That's number one. Then when you go out and now that the competition is less because people are afraid of the higher home prices and the higher interest rate, there's less competition out there right now. And when you go out and take a look at why wait? Why do you have to wait for the interest rates to go down? Why do you have to wait when you can do stuff on the back end to control how much you will actually pay for the house? So if I can save $126,000 I don't have to spend, does that make the house more affordable in the end. Because I guarantee you, this house ain't coming down $126,000. It's not coming down 126,000, and the interest rates are not going to come down far enough for me to save $126,000. That's not going to happen either in the short run. While I'm waiting for things to get better, they're actually going to get worse. They're going to get more expensive. So down, the interest rates won't always be high. You're right about that. What happens when the interest rates drop? And they will drop. What happens when the interest rates drop? People feel better about lower interest rates. They flood back into the market. There's more competition. There's going to be fewer houses. What's going to happen to the prices? You tell me. You tell me. What's going to happen to the prices when people flood back in, buy up the houses, and now you're going to have a situation where you're going to have multiple bids on houses again in your area where they're not doing that now. Why would you wait when everybody else feels good and then buy your house? The time to buy your house is now when everybody else is running scared and feeling bad. Folks, I don't know what else to tell you today. Learn those two phrases. What can you give me? And what else you got? Take your incentives and find out what is the best way to handle your incentives. So here's what I'm telling you. Get somebody on your side that understands the total interest cost on these loans and how you can manipulate it and buy your house for 75% off. Using the incentives and using interest cancellation techniques, you can buy your house at 75% off because you're not going to pay all that interest. You're only going to pay them 1/3 the interest or less that they're looking for. 1/3 or less. Okay? That's what you want to do. Make sure that your overall cost comes down. And if you do that, if you follow the P.I.L.L method program, the average family has 13 different debts. You can pay everything off in about 7 to 9 years on average. How would you like to be able to do that? Pay off everything in 7 to 9 years on average and still be able to live well, not get in the way of your lifestyle, and still put away plenty of money for savings and purchase your home for 75% off and be done with everything in 7 to 9 years. Then what could you do with the money that the bank was looking for you to give them over the next 20 years or so? Couldn't you take that money and invest it in other property? Could you take that money and invest it somewhere else? Could you take that money and invest it in your family? Could you take that money and even start a business? Could you take that money and do whatever you want that's going to help you do what the Bible says and lay up an inheritance for your children's children? How about that? Stop giving it to the bank, ladies and gentlemen. Start counting the cost. Take a look at what you're spending each month. And I'm not telling you what to buy or what not to buy. I'm just saying track it. Pay your bills and see how much money is left over. And then you're going to start asking yourself two questions. I'm going to give you these two questions you're going to start asking yourself. Once your bills are paid, and you built into your budget just to have a little fun for you and your family, out of the money that's left, you're going to start asking yourself, is this a want to or is this a need to? Because we've already had some fun. Is this a want to or is this a need to? and you'll put that money away to do something else with it. And we'll show you how to leverage that cash to kill several $100,000 worth of interest you'll never have to pay the bank. So go to ice10k.com. It's crawling across the screen. If you want to know the month, day, and year you could be debt free, go to ice10k.com. Click on my link above my head if you're here in Clubhouse. Click that link, and I'm going to put it on the screen so everybody can see. Okay. We're going to go to ice10k.com. Okay. ice10k.com. That's ICE, which stands for Interest Cancellation Expert. The number 10, the letter K.com. Okay. ice10k.com. And then scroll down past E.T., the hip hop preacher, Eric Thomas, Dr. Eric Thomas, number one motivational speaker in the world right now, and click on Get a Savings and Earnings Report. When you click that, it says, don't waste another dollar paying off the wrong debt. Get your free savings report today. You can get a free savings report. Know the month, day, and year you could be debt free on all of your debt, not just your mortgage. Well, Don, I've listened to you. I'm thinking about getting that mortgage now. So listen, put in your new mortgage numbers that you don't even have yet. Oh, that's even better. You can still fill this out with your new mortgage information. I'm looking at a $700,000 house. I'm looking at a $500,000 house. I'm looking at a $400,000 house. Whatever it is, put it in, and the interest rate, all right, that's being quoted right now, okay, not the one that they have to buy down, the actual regular interest rate. Put all of that in, and we can tell you the month, day, and year you could be debt free on that house and how much interest you could save. Meaning, you're going to get that house 2/3 cheaper. 2/3 cheaper because you're not going to give the bank all that interest. The overall cost on the loan is going to be reduced because you're not going to give them that interest by using interest cancellation techniques. Get your free savings report today. Just follow step 1 and step 2. Follow all of the steps, folks. Read your instructions. Follow all of the steps. Don't leave anything blank, and this will work for you. If you fill this part out, then it will let you into part 2. And when you get to part 2, put in all your financial information. Okay? When you put that in, then our staff will get your submission. They will call you. And when they call you, they need to verify all the information you put in. Don't forget about that, because you're going to get an email that says, thank you for your submission. Someone will call you to verify the information. Once it's verified, then you can get your savings and earnings report. Why do we need to verify it? Because once it's verified, we will guarantee those numbers. We'll guarantee that if you follow our program, you'll be able to meet or exceed these parameters. Your expectations will either be met or exceeded if you follow the program. If we say you're going to be out of debt in 7.5 years and save $250,691.72, that's exactly what's going to happen. We'll either do that or better than that. Okay. And we guarantee the numbers. No one else will do that for you. And we'll guarantee that the program works for a lifetime. Okay. So get your savings and earnings report. Not only that, let's go back. Some of you are excited about the information and you want to help me, because I started out the show saying, I need your help in getting the information out. So become an affiliate and share the YouTube channel. Click this button down here that says become an affiliate. When you click that button, you put in your name, your phone number, your email address, and how you want to get paid. Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, and then click submit. Send that in, and then you can become part of the army that's helping countless individuals pay off their debt cheaper and sooner because you showed them the only channel on the internet that is going to explain to them, prove to them, and give them evidence of paying as little interest as mathematically possible for them. Okay? So Stacy, Stacy says, Stacy, you said you did, but you didn't hear anything? Oh, all right. I, I, listen. I can't guarantee that we got it, but do it. Listen, do it again. All right. Use that. Go to. I would like to interview you to put. Oh, sure. I'd be glad to. Let's do that. Let's set that up. Okay. You can get that through my 10K card as well. All right. My digital business card. All right. Click on the part that gives you all of our information, and then call the office, and then my assistant will set up the interview for you. Well, I would love to do your show. Okay. But if you want to, give me a call. And if your information is in our records, we will do a savings and earnings report for you, Stacy. If not, then I know we had problems with the old system. We have a new system now. And all the problems that we had with the old system have now been fixed. So if you want, please fill it out again. I guarantee you we'll get it, and we'll do something with that, so you'll know the month, day, and year you could be debt free as well. All right. So become an affiliate. All right. Tell us how you want to get paid, and all you have to do is get people to watch the videos on YouTube. Yeah, get them to watch the videos on YouTube if this is what they want. Now, I'll tell you right now, people who are satisfied with how they're paying their debt and their other bills do not want to hear this. Don't even bother. Only talk to those people who are already looking for a better way. They just haven't found it yet. Okay? And when you tell them, man, listen, I was watching these videos, and this family paid off their mortgage and other stuff in about 6.5 years without having to sacrifice lifestyle. People who have been looking for that kind of thing are going to jump on this with both feet. They're going to say, well, what is that? Where are you getting that information? How do I get that information? Point them to our YouTube channel. Keep the link handy. Put it in the note on your phone. Okay. Then send that out to them, and then call them within 48 hours after they had the opportunity to watch the videos. You don't even have to tell them which ones to watch. They'll find the ones they want to watch. When they watch the videos, you call them back in 2 days and says, do you want more information? And when they say yes, you go back to the card, ice10k.com, scroll down past my picture, and on the left side here, click on where it says refer a friend. Put their name, their phone number in, their email address, and their zip code. I need the zip code so we know what time zone they're in, so we can call at the right time. All right. Put in who referred them. Put your name, your number in here, and then give us any information that you deem necessary that will help us help them get to where they're going. Okay. Give us some information about them. And it would be very nice if we had an idea of what day and what time to call them. All right. If we had that information, that would be wonderful. Then we'll call them. We'll get them to fill out a savings report. We're going to do everything. You don't have to worry about anything, because we're getting questions like, well, how many mortgages can you handle? There's no limit to how many mortgages we can handle. So don't even worry about those questions. How much debt can we put in here? Don't even worry about those questions. Okay. Does this work for everybody? Listen, let us at the P.I.L.L method, we will filter through those leads. You send them to us, we'll do that work. You don't have to worry about any of that. Just find somebody who wants to get out of debt fast, cheaper and faster. They've already been looking. Get them to the YouTube channel and then fill out refer a friend. We take it from there. Okay? We take it from there. And then we'll let you know how we do with them. All right. Once they become a client, we'll pay you. Okay. We pay out every 30 days. Every 30 days. We pay out after they become a client. 30 days later, we pay out. So if you can get up to 5 in 1 month, that's a total of $3,000 that we've paid out to you in 1 month. So you can make between $300 and $3,000 in a month or even more by just sharing the YouTube channel with people and then sending us the information. Okay? Very simple. No selling on your part. We do everything for you once you send it in. Okay? The last thing here, folks, the last thing is this. You want to know more about what we're doing or how we're doing it? Get the basics from my book. Go here, click on it, and there's my book on Amazon, The P.I.L.L Method, a better way to eliminate debt. And let me see where we are on Amazon today. I haven't checked today. We are okay. Oop, we got to sell some more books. We were at number 2. We dropped down to 58 out of 33 million titles on Amazon. We dropped down to number 58. Okay. Well, my Kindle book is at number 40. Okay. Let's see if we can move that up. let's get it up out of 3 million titles. That's really not bad. Okay. Over 33 million titles on Amazon. We're number 58. I still like that. I still like it. I still like where we are after 3 years being out. Well, listen, yeah, 3 years. We published that book in 2019. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for being here with me today. We'll be back here on Sunday giving out more game. Some of you have been here the whole time. Okay, Marie, we appreciate you. Let's Lemon and Marietta, thank you. And Tiana, thank you for being here. We appreciate all of you and every one of you on that's watching us online, whether it's live right now or watching the replay. Get this information out, folks. Right now, builders, realtors, lenders, all of them are offering incentives to purchase right now because the competition is less. The houses are staying on the market longer in certain areas. Take advantage. What are you giving me? And what else you got? Okay? Learn how to negotiate like a champ. Get that information. Call the P.I.L.L method, and we will take all the information you're gathering, all the incentives that you've gathered, and we'll show you how to optimize those incentives to lower your overall cost on this home so you can get it at 75% off using their incentives and be completely debt free if that's your choice in 7 to 9 years. Okay. Well, folks, that's going to be it for today. We're getting ready to get out of here. Thank you for jumping in. All right. And hanging out with us. We'll be back here on Sunday. Our last word. Let me check and see if there are any questions. Tiana McNeil says, I didn't quite catch the full example, but will the builders let you pocket the 15K or will they have to put it towards closing somehow? It all depends on the incentive. Tiana, some of them are actually giving cash. Some of them are actually giving cash so that you can use it any way you want. Okay. It's how you can, it's a way to do that so you can actually get it at the closing table. you can actually get cash back at the closing table. There is a way to do it. So if you contact me offline, I can get you with a realtor and someone who is a mortgage professional, and they can explain it to you. I'm not a realtor or mortgage professional, so I'm not going to get into the details. All right. But somebody in your area can show you how you can do all of this legally and above board. Take that cash and you can do something that you want with it to help you in the long run. Thank you for your question, Tiana. Appreciate it. All right, folks. So our last word will be from let me see here. Oh, there it is. Boom. Our last word will be from Eric Thomas, and then we're going to say goodbye to you, and we'll be back here on Sunday with more information. Oh, I forgot. Tomorrow. Let me put this on the screen right now. Tomorrow, I almost forgot, because I'm working with an online church, Living Manna Ministries. Okay, Living Manna Ministries is put on we're doing 8 sessions with them. We've already done 2 this Thursday night at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, and that's also 6:30 Mountain and 5:30 Pacific time. We're going over Money Answers All Things, bridging faith and finance through stewardship. That's what we're doing with Living Manna Online Church. So look them up, and you'll be able to find their YouTube channel and their Facebook page. Also, if you search Money Answers All Things, they actually have 2 channels. They've got this one and another one. If you search Money Answers All Things, you'll see my information. You'll see my videos that we're doing for them. There's already 2 that are already up. We're doing the 3rd installment of an 8-week session tomorrow night. So be there for that. Support it. Living Manna Ministries. Thank you very much for that. So let's go ahead and hear from Eric Thomas. And we'll say goodbye for today. I want to thank everybody for being here. See you on Sunday. Wrong video. Sorry. Here we go.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.